Welcome back everybody to Madden 17. My name is MrHurriicane, and today I wanted to talk about my upcoming San Diego Chargers franchise and talk some details about that, along with the slider testing I've been doing these last couple days. These are tweaked sliders from Charter 04 from the Operation Sports forums, and I'm showing what I'm using right here in these two games. I have tweaked his set a little bit to increase the human quarterback accuracy. I've also messed around with special teams and increased the player speed threshold. There are still a lot of things I have to test. I'm very early here in slider testing, but I'm trying to get things ready as soon as possible to actually get this San Diego Chargers franchise underway. In this first game, it definitely looks like the Raiders get too much pass rush towards the end. I couldn't run the football very well, but then you see things get different in the second game, and that's why you got to play a few games. Not exactly long games, because once you get into the first quarter of a game, you see how things are going to play out for the most part, and so I'm playing on very short games, like 40, 50, 60 plays, and I often simulate the second halves just to get through a bunch of different teams and just see how different teams are performing on the sliders. So I'll be doing more of this testing today, but right now it is the Raiders and the Falcons matchup. And I had some trouble getting pass rush. This is a good Raiders offensive line, and the trenches is where I first start to look at how sliders are playing out, because if the run blocking's too good, that's going to be an issue. If the pass blocking's too good, then Derek Carr is going to have all day. When I get back into playing, the first thing I will be tweaking is increasing the human quarterback accuracy even further. I've seen sets with it at 5, or this set with 15 from Charter, but I'm not getting good results on 15 accuracy. I'm getting way too many bad misses that lead to interceptions. I've been playing with these human offensive sliders and defensive sliders for a couple days, but I realized this morning my computer sliders were actually outdated for Charter set, so I had to update those this morning, and you're seeing these games do have those updates in there. And these are the last two games that I've been playing. A quick note for anybody wanting to do some slider testing inside of franchise mode, which all these games are. I recommend that you import the sliders from the main menu first, although you have to edit some of the penalty stuff in franchise because the main menu only does increments of 5, and then in the franchise it goes increments of 1. It's really confusing. But I've always made sure to import from main menu, and then I save the franchise, oftentimes as a brand new file. Then I jump into like practice mode to make sure everything's playing alright, because the first couple times I plugged in sliders, I didn't like save it. I just kind of plugged them in and jumped into a game to see how it would play out, and you're seeing really weird things from the quarterbacks in the pocket, from the CPU side of things. Like, they just aren't managing the pocket very well, and they're sliding right when they shouldn't, and they're running into their own offensive linemen and making bad throws. But I tend to see a lot less of that when you import the sliders, jump into a quick game of practice just to make sure everything's playing right, and then save the file, reload it. I don't know how it works, why it works, or what the whole case is, but for a couple of years that's what I've been doing to get sliders to give me proper tests. It's really confusing. But anyway, I'll be doing more slider tweaks. Like I said, quarterback accuracy is something I'm working on. There's a bad miss by Matt Ryan. I want to keep tweaking the punt power just because I don't want the CPU to be out-kicking their coverage. It makes it too easy to get long returns, and that's one of the things I really want to get right in my slider set this year. Other than that, though, it's just basically playing games and seeing if anything else needs to be tuned, because I'm seeing a good bit of balance, but also a small sample size. So I'll be playing more games, and if any of you have impressions of this set, then let me know what you think needs to be tweaked or what you think feels right with the sliders. So that's enough kind of with the slider talk. The gameplay will continue to roll, but I wanted to talk about franchise as well, and just some of the things that are upcoming with my Chargers franchise. A lot of people want to know when it's going to start. No date yet, although I can't see me waiting until the end of September like I did in Madden 25 and 15, or mid-October like in Madden 16. I definitely want to wait for the first patch. Reason being because I don't want that glitch in the game where you can tell if it's a run or pass for your opponent, and I just want to wait for that to be fixed. Plus, I still have a lot of testing to do, and I don't want to rush into franchise and have a patch dropped on us and have to tweak even more once I've already started the series. That would be a major pain. But beyond sliders, I wanted to talk about franchise today and kind of what you can expect from the San Diego Chargers franchise. There are new features in the game this year, like you have the game planning every week and preparing for your upcoming matchup. You have the practice squad, and you have big decisions, and those are all things that I want to be highlighting in the episode. So the format of my franchise videos may change a bit, just because it makes the most sense to show off game planning and whatnot before the game is played. So you're going to see a lot more of that tied into the intro, and my intros to the game might be a little bit longer to fit all this in, which likely means I'm not going to be doing the music over highlights. At least I'm not going to do that right away. We'll see where it fits in once I get into the swing of things with franchise. I just don't want to have too long of an intro before the game actually begins. I'm excited to get into things like practice squad and improving those players every week, and I might do a few more episodes each season. I'm not sure how many or if I'll even do these on their own, but if it makes sense, then I would like to show some of the progression for players in the practice squad, or maybe like roster battles highlighted. Maybe mid-season we have a linebacker that I've increased his ratings of, and now we're getting a chance to see him get some gameplay on the practice field. Those are the kind of things that I would like to bring to franchise in addition to games, just to get you guys more invested in the entire roster and players who might be rising from the practice squad up onto the actual roster. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to keep on the setting that allows you to take players off of opposing practice squads. Like in the NFL, you can sign a player from an opposing practice squad as long as you're signing them to your active roster. And there is the option to do that in this game. You can toggle it on or off. But I'm a little concerned that the CPU might put players on the practice squad that they drafted in like the middle rounds, and I just want to see what their tendencies are, because I know in the past I've had to kind of tweak some ratings to make sure certain players wouldn't get cut in the year one preseason. So I'll do a couple more tests with that. I did one yesterday and I saw nobody above like a 71 overall on the practice squad, so that one played out well, and I'll do a couple more of those, because I like to keep the setting on as long as the CPU is keeping things under control. I might keep trades off for year one, just because sometimes the CPU makes trades that I don't think are very good. They're giving up high draft picks for players that aren't worth high draft picks, and I might just keep that off for at least the first season to keep rosters normal in year one. I like doing that. If you have any impressions of these things, then let me know down in the comment section if you spent more time in franchise mode. I've mainly been playing a lot of Ultimate Team so far, and I've been doing some slider testing now that some sets are getting a little bit of play and they've been tweaked beyond the default settings. I do like Charter's slider approach though, where most settings are at or near default, because once you start making everything like zero base sliders, or you start tweaking things to the max, you're basically like creating your own version of the game at that point, and I just don't want to mess with that. I like to keep it as close to default as possible, but add in the balance that allows the game to play the way I want it to without changing too many things and leading to the never-ending slider tweaking process. I'm hoping to go back to 15-minute quarters this year. I have experimented with a lot of different quarter lengths and play clock runoffs. I started with 15 in my Jaguars franchise, and I later switched to 13 with a 15 clock runoff. I would prefer to play on 15. I forget what my play clock runoff was when I was using the Jaguars, but I felt like I didn't have enough time to do any motions or enough time to read the defense when I was playing those first couple seasons with the Jaguars. So I've thought about doing 15 minutes, 14 clock runoff. I think I was somewhere around 15 minutes but 12 runoff the first time I tried that with the Jaguars. And a lot of those games ran longer than normal. A lot of that has to do with the inaccuracy of Blake Bortles, because every incompletion is a clock stoppage, and when he's throwing for like 55% completion, that's a lot of incompletions, because we had a quarterback who wasn't accurate, and we were losing, so it was a lot of pass attempts, and games kind of got long. And I think I overcorrected that once I went to 13, because Nataki Mason was much better, and there were a lot less incompletions. So I'm hoping to get a better balance this year and get to 15-minute quarters, just because it looks better. I like when the clock has 15 minutes on the clock, and then you go from there. One of the things I really wanted to get to in this video, but I waited 9.5 minutes to do it, is that this year I'm actually leaning towards playing as an owner again in franchise. I did this back on Madden 25, and then with Madden 15 and 16 I created my own coaches. Now I want to do an owner this year, because it gives me the chance to give the Chargers a new stadium or think about relocation. I'm not sure which I'll do at this point, but to have that ability, you need to be an owner. I know it's nice seeing the coach on the sideline, but I would rather have the ability to handle the stadium issues, and I could upgrade the current stadium, I could renovate, or I could rebuild, or I could relocate. And then I can keep off coach firing and never have to worry about my coach getting fired, and if I turn off coach firing, then nobody else is firing their coaches. So I'm leaning owner right now, although I had someone tell me that if you're an owner, you can't edit formation subs. I'll have to confirm that, but even if that's the case, I think I would take that trade-off, especially after a couple years of just being so used to my manual substitutions. I'm pretty fast at them now. I've had to do those for a couple years, so I'm pretty used to it at this point, and I like being able to determine who is playing, not just based on formations, but also down and distance. So I'm okay with my manual control if I'm not using formation subs. And also with an owner, there would be more to show you guys. I could show you who has the best selling jerseys on the team. I could show you fan happiness and all the little things there inside owner mode that I forgot about because it's been a couple years since I have been an owner. I like showing all the other secondary things within franchise just to add to the games and add to the experience. So I'm definitely leaning owner right now, especially to make sure those Chargers get a new building to play in. Let me know what you think of all the topics I discussed around franchise and sliders in the comments section. If I haven't mentioned this already, these are all Madden sliders. I have not messed around with auto subs or anything yet. I will eventually get to that. I'm not sure how the injury setting is working right now, although I've seen a couple major injuries in these short 6-minute quarter games that I've been playing. I have yet to mess around with fatigue. It's just getting the base gameplay set right now, especially run and pass blocking, to make sure we have a good foundation to build the rest of the slider set upon. So that is going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, getting some more details on the franchise. I am very excited to get it underway, and hopefully we're not waiting too much longer because I am ready to play some more franchise with Madden 17. Thank you all for watching. Please leave your feedback down below in the comments section, and subscribe for much more Madden 17 content and my upcoming San Diego Chargers franchise. Time to go watch the Vikings' third preseason game. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you later.